So am I really going to piss off YouTube with this video? Am I going there? Of course I'm going there. This is the 14th billionth time I'm trying to film this dang video, and this is it. Mistakes and all, this is the cut. I don't care. I don't give a crap. I'm filming it. The hypocrisy in this whole damn thing is just so astounding on so many levels and in so many different ways and in so many different places. And Dr. Fauci and YouTube are just two really freaking awesome examples. And yes, I'm waiting for that 2-minute mark so I can just cuss. Just bear with me for 2 minutes and then I'll start cussing. Thank you, my YouTube overlords. Thank you, my YouTube overlords, for making me realize the error of my ways, at least for the first 2 minutes of my video. I appreciate that. Dr. Fauci, back on January 21st, and I'm looking at notes, so if you see me looking down, it's because I've obviously written notes. On January 21st, Dr. Fauci had done an interview on Newsmax TV. And Greg Kelly, who is the host of Newsmax TV, directly asked Fauci this. Bottom line, we don't have to worry about this one, right? That's what Greg Kelly, the host, had asked Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci had replied, obviously, you need to take it seriously and do the kinds of things the Center for Disease Control and Prevention and the Department of Homeland Security is doing. But this is not a major threat to the people of the United States, and this is not something that the citizens of the United States right now should be worried about. Now, that statement, I know, if you did a fact check on it and I said Dr. Fauci said that we didn't need to worry about this in the United States, fact check would come back saying mostly false, that I was mostly false for making that statement. Okay. But here's the thing. The reason that it is mostly false is because Dr. Fauci is famous for using caveats and cover-your-ass statements, saying basically, he's a politician, okay? Saying basically, right now we don't believe, right now we don't believe, we need to worry about this. It's a common thing that politicians do all the time. It's something to make people say, well, he said it wasn't an issue. And then someone can go back and say, no. In fact, he didn't say it wasn't an issue. He said, right now, it wasn't an issue. So Dr. Fauci's statement being, obviously you need to take it seriously. So he's saying, obviously you need to take it seriously. Well, yeah, obviously it's something new. That's no shit, Sherlock. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Yes! It's past 2 minutes. All right, so no shit, Sherlock, and thank you, Captain fucking Obvious. You just said something that we all fucking know. Like, if there's a car wreck out there and people are driving crazy, it's something we should all be aware about, but we still drive, don't we? Don't you? If I reveal to you that there is a damn good chance, unless you live in New York, that the number of fatal auto accidents in your state are more every single year than COVID-19, would that make you stop driving? Would you give up your keys and quarantine your keys? No, you wouldn't. You would keep driving knowing that the risk is there. People in the trades industries, all kinds of industries. People die in that field. Does that stop you from going to work? No. Because it's what we do. And Dr. Fauci's like one of those fortune tellers. Vague and filled with caveats that could be construed in any direction that is so needed at any given time. And we're going to get into more how I can prove that Fauci is a politician in this, and that's all. He's trying to go with the popular wave right now. Fauci did another interview as well. John and, gosh darn, I'm going to butcher the last name, Katsamatitis. So I'm just going to call him John. On January 26th, Fauci did an interview on John's show. He's a syndicate radio host in New York. John asked Fauci, what can you tell the American people about what's been going on? Should they be scared? Fauci replied with, I don't think so. The American people should not be worried or frightened by this. it is a very, very low risk to the United States. But it's something we as public officials need to take very seriously. Now, on that particular statement, I can absolutely qualify the fact it's been a long day. I don't know. I'm on call, and when I'm on call, it's always busy for some reason. Only when I'm on call. So it's been a long day. But I can absolutely prove to you that that sentence is, if I said that that was Dr. Fauci saying that the American people didn't need to worry about this disease. Even though a fact check would say that I was mostly false in saying that, I would say that that fact check was mostly false for saying that I was mostly false. Here's why. I don't think so. Stop. We're doing a textual analysis. We're going to stop right there. I don't think so. That's his thought. End of thought. Bam. New thought. The American people should not be worried or frightened by this. Stop. That is another thought. So we have two thoughts. Premise one, Fauci believes that we do not need to worry because he said, I don't think so. Premise two, the American people should not be worried or frightened by this. Premise three, Fauci is quoted as saying it is a very, very low risk to the United States. Premise one, premise two, and premise three is absolutely true. They are Fauci's quotes. They are what he said. Conclusion. In the beginning, Fauci, just like everybody else, was telling the American people that there was nothing to worry about. My conclusion falls necessarily from the premise. It does not deviate from the premises at all. You have premise one, I don't think so, in response to a question asking if the American people should be scared. We are simply taking his quote and taking each individual thought and using each individual thought as a premise, which is allowed as a debate strategy. So premise one, he doesn't think the American people should be worried about it. Premise two, the American people should not be worried or frightened by this. Premise three, it is a very, very low risk for the United States. And the conclusion, Fauci was telling us in the beginning that it was not a threat. Now, here is where, if you did a fact check on that statement, the statement would come back saying that I was mostly false. And that is this. Because he said, but it is something as we public health officials need to take very seriously. And that's why they would say it was false. However, inclusion and exclusion. Inclusion meaning all American people. If he wanted the American people to be scared about it, he would have said, but it's something we as American people would be worried about. But he didn't. He excluded the American people and included only public health officials need to take it very seriously. Now, I will read the quote from beginning to end with that understanding and see if you can understand where I'm coming from, saying that Dr. Fauci was in the beginning telling the American people not to worry because that was the popular vote. That was the popular way, and he wants to remain relevant. As time is going on and people are getting a little pissed off with the economy tanking, and the longer we go with the economy tanking, more people are going to get pissed off. Because eventually, these checks that you all are getting every month are going to end. And you're going to have every single individual out there going for a job all at the same time, and you're going to have competition. And you are going to have businesses that are going to look at you and say, well, you could have been working, but you stayed at home and suckled off Uncle Sam's tits. And now you're fat with Uncle Sam's freaking milk, and now you've got to go beg to Uncle Sam, and you're basically addicted to Uncle Sam's tit. So let's read this from the beginning to the end. Here's the question. By John, the radio host. There we go. What can you tell the American people about what's been going on? Should they be scared, is the question. The quote by Dr. Fauci. I don't think so. The American people should not be worried or frightened by this. It's a very, very low risk to the United States, but it's something we, as public health officials, need to take very seriously. Well, I am not a public health official. So that is Dr. Fauci right there saying that I didn't need to take it seriously. So we went from Dr. Fauci saying that it wasn't something serious to all of a sudden just last week, was it? He said opening the schools next fall would probably be too soon, and he has been the doomsayer-in-chief, the commander-in-doomsayer for quite the while, telling us that we need to lock down, and that is the only way that we are going to save lives, directly asking us a question. Do we save the economy and risk lives? Or do we save lives and risk the economy? That is what he said, that it was a zero-sum game. And now he is wishy-washy and saying that locking the country down for too long might cause irreparable damage. No shit, Sherlock. Thank you, Captain Fucking Obvious. Holy fuck. Me and other YouTubers have been telling you this for how long now? And with the assistance of YouTube and their hypocritical bullshit and their censorship fucking crap, history will show that YouTube has forever been on the wrong side of this from the beginning. I mean, they've been censoring everything that has been correct. The only thing that you have been allowed to hear, according to YouTube, who is your information gatekeeper right now, is what YouTube wants you to hear. And what YouTube wants you to hear is that the World Health Organization is God, and that China has been right from the beginning, and that we need to tank the economy and lock down forever because that's it, or it's the end of frickin' society as we know it. And it doesn't have to be that way. In fact, we have seen that the majority of people who go to the hospital are people who are in confined spaces, not essential workers going out there and working, and it makes sense because when you're in a confined space, you're basically in a petri dish. When you're outside, you have UV ray hitting you and things like that, and you actually have more space. And you're breathing fresh air rather than air that's been recirculated, and you're in a petri dish. But people like me and tons of other YouTubers, when we state the obvious that any idiot and 3 drunk fucking monkeys could freaking come up with the conclusion, YouTube says no. We don't want them to hear another opinion. And that's why I have, and why I'm trying to start a lawsuit against YouTube. It's not to win. I'm not going to win. That's not the point. And it's not money. That's not the point either. It is a simple lawsuit to get YouTube or a YouTube representative to publicly say this. It is okay to hear dissenting opinions. That's it. And I guarantee you, YouTube will fight it tooth and nail. Now, I have been going over different strategies with different individuals on attack strategies and trying to figure out those little known laws and things like that that will at least gain some sort of traction. But the biggest traction, money, that's the biggest traction that is lacking at the moment. But it doesn't mean it can't happen. But your voice matters, and the only way that you can have a good voice is to hear all the information, even the shit that you don't want to hear. Facts and feelings, man. Facts and feelings. Do you care about your feelings more, or do you care about fact? Because if you care about your feelings, I'll tell you what, I will build you a house. We will put milk cartons all around the house. We won't use any nails. We will use hot glue for the whole darn thing, okay? We will put extra padding on the floor, padding on top of all the milk cartons on the walls. We'll soundproof it. We'll make sure you never see any news. And we'll just bring puppies and, it'll just be a blast for you. But if you want to live in the real world, then you've got to know things. You've got to be of a mindset that you're going to challenge your belief system. If you live in a house, dear God, how many times do I got? If you live in a house and everybody tells you that it's always night, it's never daytime outside, it's always black. Always, 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 always. There's no such thing as trees, all this kinds of crap. And you live in this house and that's all you hear and that's what you believe. How fucking shocked are you going to be when you walk out there and it's fucking daytime and you're going to be like, holy fuck, you guys have lied to me this whole time? And are you going to be able to adjust? So right now is the time that you want to start challenging your belief systems. And how can you challenge your belief systems if we don't have freedom of speech? And how can we have freedom of speech when we have information gatekeepers? And it's proven. I mean, studies have proven beyond a shadow of doubt that, yes, YouTube does have a bias and they do change the information. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, they all do it. They all do it. But I don't, because I'm going to feed it to you straight, and I'll force feed it to you if you want to, because your freedom and my freedoms are directly related to each other. This isn't a separate thing. This isn't a us versus them thing. This is an American thing. This is a freedom thing. There is a reason people want to come to America. It's because of our freedoms, and our freedom of speech is one of the main things. Jesus Christ, so much stems out of freedom of speech and all the other freedoms. You can't let this go. You can't let it go, people. So I speak up against Dr. Fauci, and I speak up against bullshit like that. So give me a little bit of traction. A thumbs up, a like, a fucking comment would be fucking great. Tell me I'm a dick. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't give a fuck. If you don't like what I have to say, change my opinion. That's the beauty of freedom of speech. And freedom of speech isn't this little 10 by 10 square on your fucking college campus, and that's where you're allowed to have freedom of speech. Are you fucking kidding me? Since when did we sit on our fucking asses and let shit like this happen? And, okay, I'll stand in that little 10-foot square and say, fuck you. I'm going to stand 1 foot outside of that fucking square, and I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want to, because this is America, and that's a pretty big fucking square. And people died for you to be able to do that. But that's what I got for you. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.